Hi, I'm getting a little hoarse here. This is my 7th video in this particular series, my 9th video tonight. It is currently 10 after 4 in the morning. I should probably get some sleep if I've got a meeting tomorrow. So, all things considered, welcome to the new video. This is the baker or the cook video. The idea is, if any of you have seen the movie The Village, if you take the Hollywood out of it and sometimes bad writing, it was a brilliant movie that really told a really impressive message. I don't want my village to be like that one, but I don't see why we can't learn from that particular piece of media. I do want community meals, like that particular video had. However, I don't want mandatory community meals. Every household, there'll be 5 or 6 or 7 of them, will have a kitchen. However, there will be a dining hall with a stronger, larger, more robust kitchen. I do not want a cook. I want a cook rotation. I want people in pairs or threes to cook together. Today's meal is a stew and turkey, for example. You have the option to have a vegetable stew for the vegetarians and a meat dish. You pick one of the two, and whatever is not eaten that particular evening meal, supper we call it here in Newfoundland, dinner, whatever you call it in the States, the evening meal that you'd have at the end of your workday, you'd have a vegetarian option and a meat-containing option, which will be cooked from the cookbook that will be written by us, and for the world, that will only contain ingredients from our land. All the salt will be diluted ocean water. Salt. Sea salt. We may or may not have pepper. I'm not sure how peppercorns grow locally. It's been a tough shell to crack. But we will have a lot of stews, a lot of that kind of thing. Newfoundland is notorious for the stew vegetables. And we will have chicken and turkey and rabbit, sheep and goat meat. Very little beef. Very little pork. And of course people can buy their own food from off-site and bring it in. But that'll be discouraged because it encourages waste and all that mess, no pun intended. We want to strive towards self-sufficiency, and if you cannot live without chocolate, you might want to consider living without us because we can't grow cocoa on the grounds. And if you're so self-centered as to throw off the whole dynamic of living independent for chocolate, female or not, and I make it heat, but I'm trying to make a joke. It's not life or death crisis situation. So I want a rotation. If we have, say, 30 people, we can break up those 30 people into 7 groups. We can have 3 or 4, depending on the day. If you are on the rotation for Sunday, you cook Sunday's meal, the supper meal. We might have someone else in your group for Sunday cook breakfast. Someone in your group does dishes that day. And there will be people to help with dishes. I'm sure there'll be volunteers. Remember, if you help them their shift, they will help you on yours. Get out of the kitchen faster. But ideally, if we have a turkey one particular day, it's 30 people. A number of turkeys. There's lots of turkey sandwiches for the next lunchtime. And I'd imagine people will bring food into the farm, into the grounds, to have their meal out there, 2 o'clock snack and whatever. The spices that we'll use will be what we can grow ourselves in a greenhouse, not only what you grow in the soil. You can grow just about everything in a greenhouse. Most of the peppers experience cayenne pepper, red, green, yellow, orange peppers. Lavender, thyme, basil, nutmeg. Don't know if we can have cinnamon because those are big trees. and trees are fickle things in Newfoundland. The baker will work stringently with the gardener to arrange what needs to be grown and when. As well, the potter will probably be producing all the cutlery and the plates. Will be producing the plates, bowls, and the dishes, while the blacksmith produces the cutlery. I'm sure a ceramic spoon wouldn't be too bad. Never used one, thing would be pretty neat. So the idea is that if we work together and we eat together, then it'll create a more community feel. According to my research, the psychological effects of uniforms and communal diet have been some of the largest statistical indicators of a successful community like what I'm trying to create. This is statistically successful topics here. I know I'm tired when I start to stutter. So, we can also have a baker where baking is a tricky issue. Baking soda, baking powder will not exist in the strictest sense. So, fluffy bread will be a distant memory unless we can figure out what to do. Because baking soda and baking powder, I think, is a calcium type substance. And vinegar we can use. Vinegar is as simple as... you may never use vinegar again. To make malt vinegar, take a jug of beer, and you put a banana peel inside of it. After a few weeks, when the banana peel almost completely decays and there's all kinds of dead flies inside, you close it and put it in a dark room for a few days, up to a week, 2 weeks, a month. You pull it out of the closet, and you get this snot-looking thing, cloudy, thick. It genuinely looks like foggy mucus. You scoop that out, and you put it in a fresh bottle of beer. That mucousy membrane is a bacteria culture called vinegar mother. You put that jug of beer, translucent jug of beer, in a closet again. After a few months, when you pull it out, you have vinegar. Malt vinegar, because beer comes from malt. You scoop out the snot again, you put it in a new jug of beer, and you make more malt vinegar. White vinegar isn't natural. It's actually pure acetic acid. Factory assembled, not natural, no white vinegar in the village. There are lots of kinds of vinegar you can make. Cool YouTube videos, check it out. Please double check my research. I'm not infallible, I'm good, not perfect. So, vinegar we'll have. We'll also produce alcohol, the fermentation of sugars, ciders and meads and wines and beers. Whatever we can produce on the ground. Beer might be tricky. I don't know if we can produce our own hops. Barley, I think we can in small doses. Alcohol is great in moderation, and if you only have so much, you can only really drink so much. And we will frown upon importing alcohol because it's wasting and resources we can't afford to waste. So lots of ways to cultivate our own resources if you think creatively, and all the food on the grounds will be prepared with only food that we can produce. If we don't produce enough tomatoes, potatoes, turnip, carrot that year, we'll buy more of what we should have produced if it had worked out to maintain our pattern. I think it's brilliant. Newfoundlanders survived on the island for 500 years. Hundreds of those years were without the benefit of imports from England or the mainland before there was a mainland population of white men. We'll do fine, I'm sure, especially with the rotation of cooks, and will prevent us from requiring a particular professional. So, that's my 9.5 minutes. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video for the cook and the baker. As long as you don't mind unleavened bread and a lot of pancakes as opposed to actual sandwiches, then I'm sure we'll be okay as far as diet is concerned. Thanks for watching. Questions, comments below. Have a great night.